Kimi K3 solves almost 3 times more coding tasks per dollar than Fable 5, and it's fully open source. Here's how to pick the right AI model for your operation. This is the scorecard. I've been running both models side by side for 2 weeks on real client builds at Jobs Done Labs. Real code, real deadlines, real invoices. Fable wins 22 out of 35 benchmarks. K3 wins 12, but K3 does it roughly a third of the price. So the questions everyone's asking is, which one's better? Well, that's the wrong question. The right question is, which one's better for what you're actually building? Let's break down what the benchmarks actually tell us. On the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, Fable scores about a 60. K3 comes in at a 57. That's a 3 point gap. It's real, but it's not a canyon. Where Fable really pulls ahead is the hard judgment stuff: knowledge work, analyst tasks, chart reading, visual reasoning, anything where the model needs to think, not just execute. Fable's got the edge. It reasons more like a senior employee who reads between the lines, where K3 reasons more like a fast, like junior dev who gets the job done, but this is the context, you know? So coding is where K3 changes the whole conversation. It's number one on the front end code arena at 1679 ELO ahead of Fable. Number one on SWE Marathon, number one on Program Bench. Let that sink in. This is a 2.8 trillion parameter open source model outperforming proprietary models that cost 3 times as much to run. Across all 35 benchmarks, Fable still takes 22. But the 12 K3 wins are the ones that matter most if you're shipping software every single day. Now, here's where the real math kicks in. Fable 5 costs $10 per million tokens in, 50 out. K3 costs 3 in, 15 out, roughly a third. But forget token pricing for a second. The number that actually matters is the cost per solved tasks. On the deep SWE benchmark, K3 delivers almost 15 solves per $100. Fable delivers about 5. That's nearly 3 times the output for the same spend. If you're running an agency making 200, 300 API calls a day, that's the difference between a $4,000 monthly AI bill and a $1,500 one. That's a full-time employee's worth of savings. So K3 really saves you money. It has 2 more cards here too. Cached inputs drops to 30 cents per million tokens. Same system prompt, same context window, 90% off. And it's open weights. 2.8 trillion parameters you can download, self-host, fine-tune, all on your own hardware. Fable's proprietary, API only, for teams that need data sovereignly or custom fine-tuning. That's not a feature. That's the whole reason to choose K3. Benchmarks are one thing. Let me show you what happened when I built the same project on both, right? So here we are, same prompt to both models. Build a freight rate calculator for BCAT. We're going to use a React front end, Node backend, and pull live rates from the DAT API. Show margin analysis per lane. Fable nailed the architecture on the first pass, right? Clean air handling, typed interfaces, edge cases covered before I even thought of them. The kind of code I'd ship to a client at Jobs Done Labs without even changing a line, right? Well, K3 got it working just as fast, maybe faster. Output compiled and ran, but the code was rougher, about 20 minutes of cleanup, type issue, weird state bug, some mission null checks, stuff Fable just handles, right? For client work where clean code matters, I'm reaching for Fable every time. The extra cost per call buys fewer revisions and much cleaner handoffs. The code reads like a senior dev wrote it. But for internal tools, prototypes, batch automation, anything where the code just needs work and nobody's reviewing it, K3 saves real money for sure. Track the bills for 2 straight weeks running the same workload. K3 would have cut my internal tooling cost by roughly 60%. And that's not even a rounding error. So here's the real answer. It's not really one or the other. Fable 5 is your closer. Judgment calls, client-facing builds, anything where a second pass costs more than the model price difference, K3 is your workhorse. Internal tools, batch processing, prototyping, high volume automation, the operators who are going to win this really aren't picking sides. They're running both, and they're routing the right jobs to the right model. So basically what I do is I use Fable for the work that pays, and then K3 for everything that makes the work possible. Most operators should do the same.